And welcome to the post-game press conference here with the University of Arizona. Please raise your hand, wait for a mic to get to you before asking a question. Joining us, head coach Chip Hale and Garen Caulfield. Any questions? Start with David.
Chip, just how do you analyze the pitching as a whole over the starting pitching as a whole over these two games that you guys weren't able to really get the quality starts we had seen from both Cam and Clark?
Right. Yeah, it wasn't the same crisp stuff that we'd seen. And Cam had the arsenal to really battle these guys well. He just didn't have his good cutter today. And you saw when Kyler came in, Haney, he was able to really use his cutter, and same with Pluta, to neutralize him. And he just didn't have it today, and that happens. I mean, that's the problem with, you pitch a lot of innings, and we've asked a lot of those three guys, and sometimes you're not going to have it. And today was one of them, and their guy had really good stuff and mixed well, and we just couldn't get anything going.
Michael, you're in the front.
Question for both of you. How would you summarize this season?
I'm going to look back at this season as a major success, not only for, the guys in the clubhouse, but for Chip and just the university as a whole. Like, we were doubted all year, and to make it as far as we did, like, we can walk away from High Corbett today saying that this year is successful. We'd like it to end different, and our goal is obviously to win a national championship here every year. But we can't hang our heads because we, like I said, we were doubted, finished ninth in the pack, and our boys rallied.
Yeah, I completely, it probably couldn't be said better. It's hard, obviously, to ask that question right now, Michael, because we just coming off a really tough loss to a good team. But these guys have been unbelievable, and the culture change with the pitching, the culture change with the bench, even in the ninth inning today, guys screaming and yelling for guys to get a hit, and I was so happy for Emilio to get a hit after the tough hand fracture and getting back in there. That kind of summarizes this ball club. They're just never going to die, and I'm really proud of them.
Brian?
Yeah, Coach. In particular, what was there? Was it the off-speed stuff that was kind of throwing off your guys?
Well, he's had a fantastic year. He's their legitimate number 2 pitcher behind a first-round pitcher, and I circle good at bats, and Garen had a single against him, but we only had 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 circles, and 3 of those were walks. So he obviously was spinning the ball really well. I think he used a big breaking ball, he used a tighter breaking ball, and then he used some changeups to some lefties, but just did a good job. And I think when your team gets up and we've been in that same situation where they kept adding on runs, and we were sitting out in the outfield, playing defense for a while, it starts to wear on you.
Go corner over here.
This one's for Chip. So as a player in your senior season, you lost in the Tempe Regional. Mm-hmm. Any similarities between the feeling then and now as a coach?
Wow. That's going way back. I would say this, that, we had won the national championship in 86. And I don't even know if 87, we battled our tail off. We were really young. We had a lot of young kids on that team, including JT Snow, Alan Zinner. Those guys learned a lot. But I don't know if we would have made that regional if we hadn't been the national champion the year before. We weren't. We had some glaring holes on that team, but it was a battling team. I feel like this team, if we could have gotten off to a better start last night, because we were built for the 3-game series. We really were. And if we could have won that first one, I think it would have, especially with our crowd support, it was incredible what Tucson did for us. It would have been different. So, no, not a whole lot of similarities. No, I think more of the 85 team my sophomore year.
And does losing as a player in your senior year, your career at Arizona coming to an end, does that help you relate to the seniors whose career is now coming to an end?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, it's different in baseball, college baseball, Arizona, because we're on a semester system. So, there's, we're out of school, we're done. So we're already kind of starting that, life after baseball. And at that time, I didn't know if I was going to sign or get drafted or anything, and I was already looking for interviews with different companies. So yeah, it helps me understand where they're at.
Go David and then Brian.
Garen, what will your timeline be in terms of a decision on what's next for you?
I don't know. I mean, being a fifth-year junior, I've had kind of a crazy college career, and I love this university, and I was just focused on the game today. But I mean, if I do come back for another year, that'd be awesome. I love it here.
Oh, Garen, I was going to ask you a little bit about that, but just in general, you've been here for the 3 years under Chip. All 3 years had made the regional. This is the longest stretch that the program has had since the 50s and 60s of doing that. Where do you see the state of the program when you look at the guys who are coming back or expected to come back and coming in, and just overall, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought very highly of the development that our coaches instill into our young guys, and we brought in a really good group this year, and that's hats off to Chip, and the whole coaching staff. Trip has done a good job bringing the right guys in, not just any guys, the right ones. And I'm super happy for all the young guys that contributed this year. I mean, there were contributions from guys that we really had no thought that would contribute. And it's hard to think about it right now, but in their futures and the future of this program, that's going to be huge down the road in more regionals.
Brett?
For Chip, obviously the regional's not over yet, but what does this weekend so far tell you about sort of the parity in the college game right now, that 4 teams can come in and any 4 of them on any given day can compete and win, and it doesn't matter if they're a 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Oh, it's glaring to me how good everybody is in college baseball. And, we talked about the state of our program and how young we were with the bats this year, with freshmen and sophomores and some juniors in there. But you look at Grand Canyon, we played them, 4 times this year. They beat us 3. They're a really good club, and they do a great job up there, and they're supposedly a mid-major. So, yeah, it's the great thing about college sports in general. We see it in the NCAA basketball tournament, right? We see big upsets, and it's fun for those teams. It's not fun for us, but, yeah, it's a lot of talent. There's a lot of baseball talent. And I would just stress how excited I am and excited I was last night to look up and see somebody sitting in the corner of the third base bleachers, and to see the support that the city of Tucson, because again, school's out, and that's the old Pueblo coming out and supporting baseball. So I think I really want to stress that and the thankfulness we have for our great fans that we have for the university.
Back corner, and then Michael here in the front.
Garen, this is for you. What was going through your head after that final out was made and you realized the season was over?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just took a step back, and I don't know. I just looked around, just all the memories I've had here, and just how much this program means to me. And I'm glad we had our last game here, but it didn't end the way we wanted it to. But I'm just super thankful.
Two questions for Chip. The first one is, you've obviously had great regular season success this year, but in the NCAA tournament, I think you're 2-6, and gone 0-2 each of the last 2 years. Do you think you might take a different approach in any?
I'm going to
any way through the
read, what
NCAA
I'm going to
tournament?
do is I'm going to read your account, and I'm sure in the next month or so I will have some tips for next year. But yeah, I actually thought about that as the game was getting worse and worse today. As a head coach, that's my job, and we have to find a way. We did it, and we did pretty well in Coral Gables. We did okay, got to the championship game. We were not good in Fayetteville, and we were not good here. So we have to figure out a better way to do it. And if it's the way I'm preparing them, then I'll have to check myself. But I'll talk to some older guys who've been doing this for a lot longer than me at the college level, and figure some better things out. But you're right. I think we need to do some things different.
Yeah, and the second question, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but a lot of underclassmen in the lineup and then the bullpen. How do you feel about next year and the years to come?
Excited. I'm excited for, obviously Garen has a chance to come back. We're hoping he gets a chance to play at the next level. It's time for him to go. I mean, it is, but if he wants to come back and play, we're all for it. I mean, we talk about Grand Canyon and some of the other schools who played this year, old wins, in college baseball. It really does. Veterans win. But we're going to have some veterans that are really young next year, and I'm really happy about our class coming in, too. We got some studs coming in, too. So,
Our last question over there.
This one's for Chip. When you went to go take Walty out of the game, it looked like you took an extra moment to talk to him. What did you say to him, and what has he meant for you?
Yeah, I just thanked him for everything he's done, and the infielders all, and of course Adonis was out there, the catcher. They all told him, "Babe, we would not be here without you." And thanks for gutting it out today. And I just gave him a big hug. I mean, it's these guys. And I asked them before the game, let's just go out there for 2.5, 3 hours and just everything you got, give it to me. Give it to this club, give it to this university today, and see what we can do. And it didn't work out, but they did the best they could.
All right, that's our time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, welcome to the post-game press conference with Dallas Baptist University. Once again, wait for the microphone before asking your question. We're joined by head coach Dan Hefner, Tom Poole, and Jerron DeBerry. Any questions? We'll start with Brian.
Coach, if you could just kind of give a breakdown of what the game plan was for your pitcher against Arizona's lineup and how you feel that he executed that.
Yeah, I thought Jaron did an outstanding job. Obviously, Arizona's got a good lineup, great team. You know, we want to obviously congratulate them on a great season, winning the PAC regular season and the tournament championship. Really proud of our guys to be able to come in and defeat them today with as good as they are. And I thought Jaron he did his thing. We didn't necessarily do something different against them. I think it's more about when Jaron executes pitches, like he's going to be really, really good. It's, you know, when it's curveball for a strike with a slider, cutter, fastball. I think the fastball is the big one. When he's locating his fastball, which he did early in the game, I think that makes him really, really tough to hit.
Right here in the front, Lori.
Hey, Tom, this is for you. Coming into May, you had 1 home run.
Mm-hmm.
You're up to 12 now. What are you seeing at the plate now?
Yeah, just looking for a pitch I can hit well. That's pretty much as simple as it goes. I was overthinking it a little bit and then simplifying it and really doing what I'm good at, and then the results will come.
Here.
I was going to ask, Jaron, you threw 118 pitches. Is that a career or a season high for you? But you were able to kind of wiggle your way out of some of those innings. I think there was one inning they really threatened, but other than that, you maneuvered through it pretty well.
Yeah, that is a career high for me as far as I'm concerned. The biggest thing is if you ever find yourself in trouble, it's not about throwing harder or trying to do too much. It's really about simply making it simple and executing your pitch. If you can do that, you're going to do really well. And like Coach Hefner said, whenever I can locate my fastball, it makes my breaking balls play a little bit better. So that's the biggest thing, is just in those times whenever it's getting a little more tough and the lineup is kind of like seeing your pitches a little bit better, just focus more on executing.
Brett.
Coach, what does it say to you? I mean, there's a lot of baseball left this weekend, but what does it say to you about the parity in the game to have basically a 1-4 like this? That, you know, you guys could have hosted Arizona here, but really the 3 or 4 might win this thing too. What does it say to you about the game as a whole across the country?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and it's what we've felt all season long. I think if you ask college coaches right now, they'd say that anybody can beat anybody. Like Division I baseball is extremely competitive. Like you said, it is just across the board, and this regional is definitely one of those where, you know, 1 through 4, all really, really good teams there would be zero surprise if any one of the 4 wins it. And we experienced that last year as well. We were at Oklahoma State it was us, OSU, Washington, and Oral Roberts, and the 4 won it and went to the World Series. And I think this regional is very similar to that, where all 4 of us are good, and it's about who plays better on that weekend, and in just a specific game. Like, that's the game of baseball, is whoever plays better wins the game. And that's the whole goal, is just trying to, like Jaron said, he's just trying to execute pitches. Tom's trying to execute his approach. And if we have guy after guy after guy do that, then we win. If not, we're getting beat because everybody's good.
Michael.
One question apiece for Tom and Jaron. Tom, what was your approach to Cam Walty? Very few walks coming into the season, a strike thrower. How did you kind of attack him?
Yeah, so we just game plan to get him over the heart of the plate and just get him into a pitch that we want to get, because these zones for the regionals have been tight, so we're going to use that to our advantage and really get him over the middle of the plate and just get a pitch we can drive. And that first at-bat, I found that I didn't really get all that much. The second at-bat, I definitely made the adjustment and just went after it.
Sure. And Jaron, you threw a lot of breaking balls today. Breaking balls have been kind of the kryptonite for Arizona, especially late in the season. Did you throw more than you usually do? How would you sort of summarize your game plan against them?
With how many pitches I threw, that's kind of right around how many I would normally throw, kind of in ratio. Spin is definitely one of my best offerings, and it's something that I use early on in the game and then play up. And we knew that it's a very aggressive team. They have a few guys with some power, but they like to get their swings off. So early on, if I can land my breaking ball like I did, that establishes everything and makes it a lot easier to go deep into the games whenever they have to think about 5 different pitches coming at them instead of just a couple.
David?
For both Tom and Jaron, how would you guys describe what it was like to play day games here the last 2 days, and what have you learned about the process now that will help you to have to play a third one tomorrow?
Yeah, we thrive off of it. I mean, the weather is what it is. You can't really do anything about it. Just prepare how we prepare. And I mean, we're from the South anyways, so we love it.
Yeah, for me, I guess it's maybe a little bit easier because I grew up here for half of my life, so I kind of knew what to expect coming into this weekend. But the biggest thing for us is, like Tom said, like we thrive. Like whatever the weather is, that's not going to affect us because we prepare for it. And now that we're winning games, it's like the longer we're here, the better it is for us because we're going to just keep building momentum, and we're going to be really dangerous down the stretch of this.
Any more questions? All right, that's our time.
Thank you.